Welcome back, everybody. Matt the Bat here. So I got to go see the new Michael Bay, Jake Gyllenhaal movie Ambulance Friday evening. So yeah. You know, if I knew that riding in an ambulance could be so much fun, I would do it all the time. Why not? I mean, technically, I've probably been in more ambulance trucks than you have. I mean, I was just in the ambulance in December 4th, 2021, riding along in the ambulance, you know. Oh, we're making a turn. Oh, fuck, my knee. You know, so, you know, every time my knee's dislocated, I've been in an ambulance. And there's been other times, too. 1993, perfect example. So yeah, me and ambulance trucks, that's like my third car. I mean, I've had my tractor, now I have the car I have now. You know, I should just put ambulance truck on all the cars you've ever been in, or, you know, that you've anyway been in the most. But yeah. So let's get into it. Ambulance. Also, Jake Gyllenhaal. You know, Jake Gyllenhaal is one of my top 5, top 6. Sometimes they say top 5, some days they'll say top 6 favorite actors. I own almost every Jake Gyllenhaal movie. I mean, as you can see from the movies I'm going down the line with, that I own pretty much every Jake Gyllenhaal film, even going back to his first ever acting debut in City Slickers, Billy Crystal. A lot of people don't know that, wait a minute, Jake Gyllenhaal was in that movie. He played Billy Crystal's son in like 1 or 2 scenes in that whole movie. But yeah, going all the way through. And really, I became a fan of Jake Gyllenhaal really in 1999 when he was in October Sky playing Homer Hickam. Ever since then, I've been a huge Jake Gyllenhaal fan, and really in the past 10 years, ever since 2012 when he started End of Watch for Antoine Fuqua. I mean, he's had a movie from End of Watch 2012, Prisoners, Enemy, Nightcrawler, Nocturnal Animals, Life, Stronger, Southpaw, even Spider-Man Far From Home. He has been nailing it and nailing it and nailing it for the past 10 years straight. And that's like I'm not even going back to other movies like Jarhead, Brokeback Mountain, Love and Other Drugs. What else? We got Donnie Darko is obviously a major favorite for most people. I mean, like I said, when you hear the name Jake Gyllenhaal in a movie, that's like saying, oh, that's like hearing the name Leonardo DiCaprio. Oh, Leonardo what? Yeah, you don't even have to tell me the rest of his name. I'm going. And then we get into Michael Bay, the guy who you can count on 3 things when it comes to Michael Bay. Explosions, explosions, explosions. Hot women, no matter what profession they're doing in the movie. And also, his unique style of cinematography. A lot of sunsets, or sunrises, or sunsets going down. The orange and yellow look to the films. Michael Bay has a unique style that some might say he borrowed maybe from like Tony Scott. You go back to earlier Tony Scott films and you do see a little bit of that in them. So maybe Michael Bay learned it, took some of that and then made his own unique look to his movies. And almost every one of Michael Bay's movies has a unique look that fits his own, it's almost like his own signature. Like, you know this is a Michael Bay movie. And I like Michael Bay. I don't think, there's only 1 or 2 movies of Michael Bay's, like Pearl Harbor. Yeah, you can say the last 2 Transformers movies. But overall, at least, even with the okay movies that Michael Bay has done, they are entertaining. I mean, who doesn't love Bad Boys? Who doesn't love Armageddon? Who doesn't love the first Transformers movie? Who doesn't even like Pain and Gain is entertaining. His 13 Hours movie. I mean, the dude, no, even The Island, the Ewan McGregor Scarlett Johansson movie, you know, they did that. Yeah, that is, if you ever want to know one of the most controversial moments in a movie, Michael Bay, the guy who Googles, idolizes hot young women, decided not to have Scarlett Johansson be naked in a scene in The Island. But Scarlett Johansson was 100% okay with it. To this day, we all go, what? But we'll get Megan Fox bending over a car, or we'll get Kate Beckinsale doing her thing, or we'll get, you know, Rosie Huntington, whatever her name is, the Victoria's Secret model, her walking up the stairs and just framing her butt going upstairs in a thong. Because why not? That's how we introduced the character. Because she's a Victoria's Secret model. But yeah, one thing you get explosions, hot women in professions that you only wish they were that hot. And I'm going to get into that in a minute. And you get his normal stylistic cinematography. But now let's get into the positives of what I would think is actually one of Michael Bay's best movies outside of the Transformers movies in a long time. My boy Jake Gyllenhaal, the dude is a motherfucking badass in this movie. Think of Nightcrawler where he was creepy, but instead of being creepy, he's a badass, crazy, charismatic, unhinged. Like I said, when you look at Nightcrawler, he is so unhinged in that movie. Now take that and put it in a Michael Bay action movie where he has some charm and action badassness, and it's like, even if everything else in this movie was horrible, watching Jake Gyllenhaal, one of my favorite actors to watch, go completely nuts in a fucking great way in this movie was amazing to watch. I mean, he has great chemistry with his adopted brother, played by Abdul Mateen. He is just, in moments you're actually scared of him, like in Nightcrawler. I mean, he brings the charm. And when we first introduced him, he's walking into a building, he has this black, shirt on with a nice sports coat, nice beard. I mean, that's the other thing. If I ever want to look like an actor that has a great beard, Jake Gyllenhaal. The dude knows how to have the best beard ever. I'm trying. I'm trying. We're almost there. And then when he's wearing like black shirts and stuff, I'm like, really? Dude, I want to be you. I want to be Jake Gyllenhaal. Taylor Swift, what were you thinking? But he is completely off the chain in this movie in all the right ways. In all the right ways. I have Abdul Mateen. There's an actor that is slowly rising in Hollywood. In fact, Michael Bay didn't even know this actor at all until someone said, hey, you might want to audition this Yaya guy. And Michael Bay said, what's a Yaya? That's pretty bad. But yeah, I mean, he was in the Matrix Resurrections. I don't blame him for the role. He's a good actor, and he could have done a good job with Morpheus. The writing was just horrible. But he was in the Candyman reboot sequel. He was in Aquaman 1. He was great in Aquaman 1. And here, he's grounded. He's a more grounded brother. he has a real motive for what he's doing. He needs to get money for his child. He's an experimental operation, and the insurance company, you gotta love those medical insurance companies, don't want to pay anything. So they think, well, I need to get the money for my child to have this operation. So he goes in it, and for that reason, he's a war veteran. He fought in the military. And I really like his character. He's grounded. He has great chemistry with Isaac Gonzalez, who plays the EMT in the movie. He's very good in the movie. He definitely balances the unhinged Jake Gyllenhaal and then the more grounded, subdued other brother. He does a great job. Isaac Gonzalez is another actress who is slowly rising in Hollywood. She was in Baby Driver. She played John Hamm's girlfriend, love interest, criminal partner. She was just in Hobbs and Shaw a couple years ago in one long scene. She was in a Netflix movie last year with Rosamund Pike on Netflix. They played lesbian mothers. But she's very good in here. Once again, the one thing he is, Michael Bay, is the one you might want to say Michael Bay is one of the luckiest motherfuckers in Hollywood, because he is able to get the hottest women and put them in a profession that you never see this hot of women in that profession. I mean, you look at Kate Beckinsale in Pearl Harbor as a nurse. Buddy, I've had 27 surgeries. I've never had a nurse not hot. Never. Never. If I did, I would be staying in the hospital more. I spent so much time in the hospital in college. But yeah, I would have spent a little bit longer time. Then, you got Isaac Gonzalez playing an EMT. I just said at the beginning of this video, I've been in a lot of ambulances before. Just recently in December. None of my EMTs have ever looked like this. Ever. Ever. If they did, I'd be telling them, you guys can drive all the way around Alpharetta. Drive as many times as you want. No problem. My leg, my knee, it's not going anywhere. It's already out. We're good. Keep going. Keep driving. I'll be here all day. You'll be here all day. Really? Really? You're going to get an EMT or an actress that can kind of not look so hot? Anyway, but that's Michael Bay for you. Besides the look, Isaac Gonzalez is actually a really good actress. She shows a lot of range in this movie. She brings a lot of different, angles to her performance. Dramatic, charming, funny, serious, emotional. And she's the only character in the movie that has an arc in the entire movie. And that's the thing that, people want to criticize Michael Bay. He only gets women to look hot in his movies. No, because even if you go back to the first Transformers, Megan Fox and Michaela actually had stuff to do in that movie, besides just walk around looking hot. And this one is definitely, even though yes, Michael Bay didn't write the script, so there you go. And apparently on set, Michael Bay wanted to be more cartoonish with the character, and Isaac Gonzalez was like, no, I want to be real, grounded, realistic. And she won. And guess what? Good on her. Because, like I said, it's the best character arc in the movie. And she plays it seriously. she can't help that she's good looking. But she does a great job in the role. What else? The action, of course, in the Michael Bay movie. Even though the action doesn't come until almost an hour into the movie, you got car chase. 90 minutes of this movie is car chase. Police trying to chase down this ambulance. Or a helicopter trying to chase down this ambulance. It works. And then when we get to the gunfights, like the bank robbery, or the Mexican cartel come in, it's Michael Bay. Michael Bay, there's one thing about Michael Bay. He's one of the best action directors out there. Hands down. Whether you like all his movies or not, when it comes to action, Michael Bay will deliver. Period. And he does. This movie has a lot of humor. Some of the dialogue, even there's the one scene where, Yaya and Jake Gyllenhaal are in the front of the ambulance, and a song comes on, Sailing by Christopher Cross, and they just start singing the song. Just going for it. It's great. It's a fun moment. There's also some other humor in the movie. So, the movie does have humor throughout. It's not so serious that, it's not, like I say, it's an entertaining movie. It gives you the action, the humor, the acting, the explosions, cinematography. We learned in this movie that Michael Bay has purchased a drone for $300, apparently. And let me tell you, giving Michael Bay a drone, not a bad idea. Because I'm telling you, there are certain shots in this movie that you go, how the fuck did he do that with a drone? Like, he has this shot of a car going up with speed, like hitting a rock or a bump and going in the air. And the drone, and here's the ground, like car here, ground here. The drone goes right through, like, I mean, you're like this far away from either that drone hitting the ground or hitting the bottom of that car. And it just goes right through, and you're like, wow. You're like, that's an awesome shot. It might be 2 seconds long, but the way he was able to get that with the drone, you go, oh wow, Michael Bay. Wow. And guess what? This movie does not feel like, this movie was made for $40 million. Most of the Transformers movies are like 200 to 250 million. This movie doesn't even feel like it's only made for 40 million bucks. Heck, most movies that have come out this year are made for, even the low budget movies, are made for more money than this movie. And this movie looks fantastic. I mean, I guess a lot of it's practical. You got an ambulance truck and you got cop cars. I mean, but still, for only $40 million, shit. There's a scene in the movie where Jake Gyllenhaal is hanging out of the window of the passenger side of the ambulance. He has his gun out. He's looking at the helicopter above, trying to shoot it. And you see it in the trailer. But then in the actual movie, you see him turn and look this way, like at the camera. And when the character turns and looks at the camera, even though it is a very wide shot. I mean, it's a wide shot. It's not like, right up and you're okay. It's a very wide angle shot. But even on a big screen in a movie theater, I'm looking at this shot going, that's not Jake Gyllenhaal. I go, that's a stuntman. That is 100% a stuntman. Now, yeah, most action movies, most movies that have any type of action in them have stunt people to do the stunts. Because they don't want to have the actor injure themselves and be out of work for weeks. They have to shut down production. That they lose a whole lot of money. So they bring in a stuntman to do it. Well, for some reason in this shot, you can clearly tell it's not Jake Gyllenhaal hanging out of that car. Out of the window of that car. It's a stuntman. And maybe on a smaller screen you won't be able to realize it, but on a big movie screen, I was like, yeah, that's not Jake Gyllenhaal. Even if he's still wearing the same exact outfit, the beard, like, that ain't Jake Gyllenhaal, I'm telling you right now. I mean, you look at the face and you're like, that ain't him. In that one moment I was like, oh, that's not my boy Jake Gyllenhaal. The pacing. This movie's 2 hours and 12 minutes. It's only about a half hour into the movie. They finally get to the ambulance part of the movie and we get to the 90 minutes of chase of the movie. There are definitely scenes in this movie that could have been small scenes. Like we have one FBI agent that we get introduced to that is in counseling with his boyfriend. And it's like, why do we need this scene? Nothing against showing two guys, in marriage counseling or whatever, but you didn't need the scene at all. Because when you see the guy go to the crime scene at the bank, so why do we need to have a scene of him in counseling? Which is never brought up the rest of the movie. So it's like one of those scenes you go, you could have taken that out. You could have taken that out. So that's just one scene. There's also other things throughout the movie that you're like, yeah, you could have took that out, you could have trimmed that a little bit. The ending, it goes on for like 10 minutes. It's like ending after ending after ending. And I know what they were doing there, I know what they were going for. Because then one of it was to, have that arc for Isaac Gonzalez. But even then, there's other stuff in that, those final 10 minutes that, yeah, you could have trimmed right there, you could have trimmed a little bit right there. This movie should have been 2 hours, easily, instead of 2 hours and 12 minutes. And probably 2 hours before credits, or even just under 2 hours before credits. I don't mind the movie. I feel like it moves. Very entertaining, funny at times, action-packed. You get to see Jake Gyllenhaal for over 2 hours completely unhinged, which is great. So I didn't mind it personally, but I am one of those people that can say, you should have trimmed a little bit here. You should have taken that scene at the marriage counselor scene out. You should have not gone back to Yahya Abdul-Makeen's wife watching the news 3 or 4 times throughout the movie. Maybe show it only once. Well, that's just my nitpick of that. But overall, this is a very entertaining, it might have been one of the better Michael Bay movies in a long time. It might have been, if you're a fan of Michael Bay or if you're a fan of Jake Gyllenhaal, this is a win-win for you. For me. So, I would probably give this a 4.7 out of 5. I really did enjoy this movie. I am kind of shocked of how much I enjoyed this movie. This movie was like Transformers for me. The first Transformers were, I went in going, oh, I like Shia LaBeouf, I like Michael Bay. I don't know, a Transformers movie? What are they going to do with this? And then I walked out of Transformers going, oh my god, this is amazing. And that was one of my favorite movies of 2007. So, yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. Really good acting, action, humor. It's a well done movie. I didn't realize until today, when I was watching another reviewer, that the FBI agent in this movie is none other than Jeremy trying to seduce me. I want my painting back. It was a gift. I just realized that the guy from Wedding Crashers, he's a homo. Ends up being a homo in this movie. That just made the movie for me. When I found that out today, that the guy from Wedding Crashers is the FBI agent in this movie, I was like, you know what? I forgive that counseling scene because that just made everything. So now Wedding Crashers is a part of this movie. You gotta watch Wedding Crashers and then watch Ambulance. And you get it. You really get it. He's a homo.